Let's go ahead and move on and talk about iOS 17 now. Griffin did a great piece on Cult of Mac. The 50 top features you should try. I'm trying to find this in iOS 17.
So if you've updated iOS 17 and maybe you forgot some of the top features since WWDC, I'm going to start in the middle of this list here. You can convert a list in reminders into a groceries list. I use this all the time now.
Really?
So if you have a list and reminders that you use for your groceries, you can tap the sort of the three dots menu on the top, tap show list info, and you can check that it's a grocery list. And then it'll automatically look at the items in the list and sort them into different store categories like produce, meat, bakery, frozen foods, pet care, so you can have an easier time getting around the store there. It's probably not going to be perfect for your store, but it gives you a little map in your head of your time in the store. In Find My, you can share an AirTag with someone else in your family and save them from all those incessant warnings that your wife is stalking you because you have her pair of keys with an AirTag on them. So you go to the Find My app. I mean, this should have been in there day one, right? You go to the Find My app, the items tab, you tap on one of your items that's an AirTag, and then there's just a share button that you can tap and send an invitation over iMessage or something. If you change your passcode, but you forget what you changed it to, you can still unlock your phone using your old passcode for up to 3 days.
Oh, whoa.
That's a weird one. I never even heard of that one.
Yeah, this happened to me one time. I changed my passcode to a complicated alphanumeric one, and then an hour later or so, I typed it in again, and I found out that I misremembered it. So I had to go through the whole rigmarole of resetting my phone and restoring from an iCloud
That's actually
backup.
quite genius, I have to say.
Yeah. So now you can use your old passcode if you forget your new one. And you might be thinking, oh, well, what if I intentionally want to change my passcode because, someone knows what my old one is. You can immediately expire your old passcode as well right after you change it. I just used this earlier this week. If you open up a PDF form inside Notes or Mail or Preview on the Mac, there's a new button you can press that'll turn on this form filling mode. It'll detect all of the text fields, and you can just tap on any of them and type in text right away.
Oh, dude, that's super useful.
You don't have to use markup and manually move the little text fields around. It'll just do it automatically. You can just click to fill in a checkbox. It has a little button where you can just add your signature on a signature line. It's incredibly useful. When you're putting a photo on your lock screen, you can just drag it down, and your phone will fill in using this AI fill thing on the top half of it, and it'll just put on this big blur effect.
Huh.
So if you have a favorite picture of your dog, but maybe the picture was taken landscape, so there's not enough room above the dog to make room for the clock, well, you can just drag it down and it'll fill it in and blur it and make it look nice.
That's interesting. Wow. That's pretty cool.
In Mail, this is how did they go so long without having this? If you're composing an email on your iPhone, before there was no way to select a line of text and add an inline link, a URL to a piece of text. Now it's there. You just select a line of text, and now there's a new add link button that you can press on the little pop-up menu there.
You're right. That is surprising.
That's a great one. Yeah. In last one, you can find the rest of the list on cultofmac.com. It was the top story this week. If you're in the weather app, you can look at yesterday's weather if you tap on any of the widget fields. It's a simple one, but it's great.
I always want to know what the weather was when the day is over. I'm I'm just interested in weather. I mean, there's just those of us out there that are interested in weather. There's nothing to be ashamed about. And I'd like to know, hey, what was the weather this morning or yesterday? And I like past weather. Sometimes I'll go on the web and I'll just browse the weather. I like to know what's going on.